Right, today we are going to show you the difference between the new Ranger windows and the old windows, because we're going to swap them out in the van, and we'll do a bit of a measurement and comparison and show the difference between the old style and the new style. So we can, I'll start off with the surround. The old Venetian, and I don't know if you ever got these windows, you know that they get caught like this all the time. They're a pain in the ass to clean, and these grommets always fall out. So, and yeah, so they're a bit fitted. They're a good window, don't get me wrong. So, but these little grommets always fall out, and the way that this window is held in is by this frame. So that sits on there and clamps it to the walls, and once it's clamped, that's how it holds it. But then if you tighten it too much, you can't open the Venetians because it sort of twists the plastic and then they get jammed. So then you got to back the screws off. Well, then you're sort of making the window not as tight. So with the new windows, they have a surround that goes over it, and that bolts it and clamps it. And once that's tight, that's it. You just leave it. You leave it tight, and you've got your new one that sits on, and it clips over the top with 4 screws. So completely separate. So 3 pieces instead of 2. So, and these ones are yeah, much easier. You can give them a wipe and a clean, and they're going to be pretty good. So, and they're a lot finer mesh, and they run in a channel, so the bugs are less likely to get through. So that's the difference between those, and the measurements on them are very, very much to muchness. So the actual opening and the actual measurements on the outsides are the same. It's the inside measurement, which that one is 380 internal, and then internal on this one it's 395, so 15 mil. Now then inside this way it's 230, and this one here is 245. So the actual opening here is a lot, 15 mil all the way around compared to that one. So, but then you do have this frame on it. So once that frame sits on there, you know, that is exactly the same. It just looks different because this is actually smaller than this one here, because this opening is bigger. So the actual window technically 15 mil bigger, but it doesn't open all the way. This one opens more than this one. So that's the other difference. This one has a longer strut by 15 mil, and this one's got a shorter strut by 15 mil. So not sure if you can retrofit this onto here, which I'm going to try later on, because the window will only open, yeah, it only opens to like that. So where the other one opened slightly more. I don't know if we can sit those like that. Do a bit of a comparison between the two. Yeah, look at that. It's actually quite noticeably difference if you're thinking chalk and cheese. You can see the difference there. Mm-hmm. So I'll see if we can retrofit that little little shocker thing. What do you call that? I don't know what you call that now. I've got a mind blank.
Shocker.
The
gas strap?
There's not even a gas
No,
strap.
gas. Yeah.
The stopper and open and close it. That thing.
Extender.
So, yes, it looks like it's identical. Do you know, like this here looks pretty much identical to that. Like they look identical. Same screws. So I can't see why you couldn't change it. This one here looks like it's up a bit higher. Maybe that's why.
Looks
but
longer.
Maybe don't know. I'll let you guys know at the end of the video if it works or not. So, but what you're going to need when you pull your old windows out, because what you do when you pull the old one out, you just undo these screws. This comes off easily, and then you've got to force this off. You've got to cut it. But you will lose all your foil stuff, and so you'll lose everything there. So you'll have to clean up your window and make all that. So you're going to need a roll of the foil tape, Bunnings. Go to the plastering side of stuff and roofing stuff, and some of this foam. So on these ones, they got the foam running all the way around it, and then they put silicone on it, and they've really pushed it in. So I guess because you got to use this to really sandwich it. So, and then you basically almost got to back these screws off sometimes, otherwise it's tight. So they're relying on the silicone and all that. I've tried it with the other windows by putting that foam, because that's what they told me to do, put the foam all the way around, unscrew it on with the silicone, too tight, couldn't get it to go flush. So I don't know if it was just me, and but then I was like, well, then now there's 3 different places it can leak out of. So all I've done is I've stuck it on the bottom side. So when all I've done is put it on that bottom and around that corner, and then that way I can sit that on, and inside the actual frame, it sits in there perfectly, and then it will just clip in, so it's tight. So, which the other one wasn't. So, because this is a little bit different to that frame. It's a bit more rounded, this is a bit more square. So, and I'm not gonna put heaps of that on and force it and put a heap of silicone to make it seal. I reckon just this seal around the outside, and that with a bunch of silicone all the way around still on that gasket thing, and put it in, because that other one I put in just went really nice. So I can give you a quick show of that one. That was this window here. So I've done both of these two. So you can see the difference. So, and then just a nice bead of silicone all the way around, and yeah, that was it. So just the key is don't put too much silicone on there, push it in, screw it really tight. If the silicone hasn't poked out a few little places, then go around with your gun and squeeze that silicone in there. So, but as long as you put a nice 5mm bead around the whole thing, these windows will sit really flush to the thing. So besides when you hit this little, you've got to put a bit more underneath. So, but that one there turned out really good. So I'm about to do this one. So I've taken it out, and you've got to clean it as best you can. And I reckon this stuff, if you ever use this to clean stuff, it gets bloody heavy, sticky stuff off. Use that, and then clean it, and then wait for that to dry, and then clean it with some alcohol or something, because this will leave a residue, and the silicone won't stick to it. So clean it with some alcohol, and you're going to need a rag, a couple of these little squeegee things if you don't want to use your finger, however you like to, what do you call it, smooth off your silicone. And I went with this silicone because it was one of the better ones. So it's adhesive silicone, but it's meant for boats and all sorts of stuff. So cars, boats, trucks. Looks like a tram. I don't know who's going to renovate a tram. Is that a tram to you? I don't know.
Oh, a train.
Train?
Like new trains.
Train or a bus? I don't know. Next project, train. So yeah, and it's UV stable, it's strong, and it's water repellent, so it keeps everything away. So I don't know, you choose your own silicone. I'm choosing this. So I don't know, that's it. Let's put some stuff on it, glue it up, throw it in, squeeze it, show the end result. You can see I've cleaned all this up really nicely, and wiped it with some alcohol. Now we're going to put this foil on there and seal all this up. So you can see I've put all that around now, gave it a little edge over the side, so they've done it by factory. So we'll put it all in, pushed it all down, time for the window. So that's what I mean about this foam along the bottom. I've just stuck it on there, so because that foam will rest on that bottom lip and it'll hold the window from, instead of sagging and falling down, it just takes up the gap and makes it nice and tight. All right, let's put some silicone on there and I'll show you. So I made sure I bring everything inside, got the gun, got the screws, they're out of the packet ready to pick up. So once I put that window in there and push it against there, and quickly run inside and grab this, grab the screws, and we can screw it together. I'm some silicone, and I've just cut the end, and I've made it sort of on a 45. Oh, it's hard to tell. 45, cut the back side off, there we go. So when I lay that in there, just lay a nice bead. Time to lay some silicone. So I put all the silicone down around it, made a nice bead. I've done 2 beads, one on the inside of the gap all the way around, and one on the outside of the gap on the actual edge of that rubber seal. So I suppose why all the other people use all that foam, less foam's probably cheaper than a $25 tube of silicone. So, you know, it was like just over half a tube. going right round, so, or half a tube. So add that up over a big period of time, that stuff's cheaper. So, but I reckon this will seal better. So anyways, let's throw it up there now. Just place the bottom in on that bit of foam. Don't get silicone on you, I've just pushed it on myself. Good. So that will hold itself there. And I'll go inside and we'll screw it on. That's why you need rags. Get rid of that. That silicone will hold that on. That's, you even know about silicone, you push it on there, that's not going to blow out. Not the next 5 minutes. Quickly go inside and we'll screw it together. You can see how it's a tight fit. It's a tight fit and all the way around. So if I put all that foam on there, it'd be too tight to fit in there. But you can see I just have that foam resting on that bottom lip. So then it just makes it a tight seal. Alright, quick before the silicone dries. We'll grab this, couple of screws. It only goes one way, that down to the bottom. So when that sits there,
Hang on.
you can put all the screws in. I'll do that, you deal with the kids. So I've just screwed it all in. You can see it clamps up nicely. See it sort of like touches there, clamps up. So that frame is now tight up against the window. So that's all in. And we can go on the outside now and clean all that silicone. But before I do that, I'll quickly show you inside here. That one's already done. You can see the difference. Got the blind, comes down. You can see the difference. The old style, which I haven't done that side yet. And that one. So I reckon that looks a lot neater. You don't have these rubber things falling out all the time. But you can see if this was to done it really tight to hold the window in, this gets jammed and won't come up and down because it's pushing against it. So I don't know, if you guys have got those, you'll know. So but that's the new one and the old one. So I'll put this on in a second once I finish out there, but you can see these little black pieces, they slide into those gaps. And then it's got these screws, you put those screws on and you've got some little clips. So alright, let's go out the outside before it dries and we'll clean up all that silicone. That window's in now, I've siliconed it all up. Anyways, they look pretty cool. Right, hope you enjoyed that one. Now you know the difference between the old windows and the new windows. You can make your own mind up if you want to swap your van over. So I reckon that's heaps better. Righto, hooroo.